Switch to the second person now. If you're already there, that's good, but otherwise switch to the second person. And up here, we'll hit the home stretch. I know that was quick, it seemed rushed, but when Vitrus asked me to conduct this format, typically this is what we used to do over a course of 3 days with about 21 different trainers. So I managed to compress for you what you would have gotten there in 3 days. When I went through it, we had a much longer time. So what was the most difficult step and what was the easiest as you were navigating through this? So either one you can pick up. What was hard, what was easy? Oh, thank you for that overwhelming indifference. Yes.
Identifying the goal was easy.
Okay.
Implementing the plan of action was
Okay. All right. Okay. Plan of action was a little more difficult, identifying it. We all know what we want, we just don't know how to get there.
Yeah, that's what.
Yes.
How?
Sorry?
Even if sometimes we know the how, the execution.
Yeah, the reason is we are a how-to culture, and being a goal setter is why. Why do you want it? When you know why, anyhow will do. You have to constantly ask yourself your why questions. Why do you need to be there? Why does someone need you in charge? Why do you want to make $1 million? Are you going to be a good steward with it? Everybody, is, we are a very funny bunch. We say that I don't like to be greedy. I'm a very humble person. I come from a very modest background. So here's our prayer. Lord, I don't want to sound greedy. I don't want all of the land. Just what's next to mine. That's a boundaryless desire. Boundaryless thinking corrupts. That's why Chesterton said, be careful of which boundary we drop if you never asked yourself why it was up there. Ravi Zacharias puts it, the problem in this world today is not the problem of pain and wondering why such humanity can be in such ways. The problem is an unbridled pleasure. We're running out of ways to scintillate ourselves. And the world is sinking deeper and darker into the depths of immorality. We've redefined morality. And as a result, humanity doesn't know what it wants anymore. But you have to ask yourself why. We ask ourselves all these very existential questions. What is truth? People say, it's all relative. No, they're saying I have lousy relatives. I'm pretty sure when you go to the zoo, the monkey is not saying, I wonder where we went to sleep. When you're looking at the monkey is not wondering what it didn't do to evolve that became you. So when you go to the zoo, quit looking at the monkey in an existential way. It's just a monkey. And that's what, I'll give you another quick illustration, but what else? What are some of the difficult things of goal setting?
Being honest about the obstacles that you will face is like being honest about it. Not like to
See, an overextension of a strength is a weakness. If you have only one strength and you think you're God's gift to the planet and you rug it out that till the end, you will be boring and you will be irritated. If you can only do one thing. So an overextension of a strength becomes a weakness. You have to do a SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You have to be able to admit, proverbial literature says that let the weak say I am strong. You have to be able to admit a weakness. Only then will you find someone strengthy. When I asked Mr. Ziglar, can I be an international speaker? He says, yes. I said, I've set the goal. I just don't believe it. He says, if you can't imagine it, it won't happen. I said, how do you imagine it? He says, imagine people are rolling in the aisles and giving you a standing ovation before you've ever spoken. Always imagine endgame. That's a vision board. Don't be irritated. Be interested. And some people, they say some people's minds are like concrete, thoroughly mixed, permanently set. So it's that'll help the construction people here. But for the young athletes here, one of the great illustrations of all that I can give in goal setting is Edwin Moses, gentleman young here, national athlete, 110-meter hurdle. within the confines of hurdling, in the middle and in the long, in the 200 and 400, Edwin Moses will probably remain in history as undisputedly one of the greatest. 13 consecutive years he medaled. He medaled in 3 different Olympics, and America boycotted one. When he was finally defeated, it was by a German. 122 consecutive races, he didn't lose. He went to Morehouse College, the same college that produced the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. They had substandard equipment and didn't have anything to give a world-class athlete his due. This man's greatest regret in life was he didn't graduate also with a 4.0. He'll tell you the pounding it'll take on the knees if you do that for 13 years. It's quite harsh. It's a hard sport. But Edwin Moses, when he became the chairman of the Laurentis Foundation, they said, "What do you think is the most significant part of your achievement?" He said, "In that small house with nothing, growing up in abject poverty, having that street named after me at some point." That's accomplishment. Human beings are fickle because we focus on activity, never on accomplishment. When Edmund Hillary climbed Mount Everest in 1953, 29,028 feet, he didn't say, "Hey, I wonder how I got up here. I was just walking." No, he planned, he prepared, he expected. But he left 6 dead in the snows of Everest the previous summit when he failed the 5th time. And he walked into an event like this that was honoring an attempt. They said, "You're one of this planet's great heroes. You almost conquered Everest." He said, "I didn't set out to almost conquer Everest. I set out to conquer Everest." And there was a picture of Mount Everest there, and he made a fist at it. And he said, "I'm going to get you." He wrote about it in his book, High Adventure. "I'm going to get you because you have grown just about all you're going to grow, but I am still growing." See, your obstacles have grown just about all they're going to grow. Your obstacles are always going to grow just about. So make sure that you're still growing. So when he summited the peak on May 23rd of 1953, along with Tenzing Norgay, the last 28 feet is called the Hillary Step. He's immortalized. Everybody who climbs Everest after that will have to say the hardest part was the Hillary Step. Because you have to wait there for the others to come down so they can go up. Now people do it without bottled oxygen, but Edmund Hillary's best quote was, "Nobody remembers who conquered it second." So Edwin Moses was asked much later in his life, with substandard equipment, studying in a poor environment with a college that didn't have a track, and you having to practice in the neighborhood park with shoes that were below international standards, how did you do it? I love his answer. "I knew it was going to hurt, so I cried before practice." I knew it was going to hurt, so I cried before practice. We are going to get knocked down. Failure is not falling down, it's refusing to learn something when you were down there. You're saying that's harsh. No, that's effectiveness. Otherwise, you can be a spectator and be happy. You know? People will knock on your door and say, "What are you thinking?" Log kya kahenge? You know, you can be the log. Thinking about everybody else. See, I'm very practical in a lot of what I do. I'm very pragmatic in what I do. When my plane lands and the host comes to pick me up, "How was the flight?" "Landed." There's nothing. My goals in life are very simple. When I get on a plane, there's only one desire. Oh Lord, same number of pieces that went up should be the number that come down. It is not complicated. If you overcomplicate stuff, you'll get in trouble. See, we all put on our seatbelts when the flight attendant tells them put us our seatbelt. You're not in control. She's not even in control. She told you, the captain told you to tell you. And everybody buckles up. In your car, I've noticed when you're driving around, you think Maruti had some extra leather. Nobody wears their seatbelt on the ground. Because you can't get hurt in Indian traffic. You're going at no miles an hour. But National Safety Board has said if you have your car belt on in the car, 1 in 3 you'll survive if you have a wreck. I've flown 5 million miles. I'm going to tell you with considerable authority. I don't care how well you buckled at 35,000 feet in the air. If something happens to that plane, you will die. And yet we buckle in the air, we don't buckle on the ground, thinking we're logical. We're the most emotional fools walking around as a wreck. Get emotional about your goals. Feel your way to the top. See, that's about the only place feelings work. The practical part of life is some will achieve, some won't. Now, one of the things that's fascinating on Facebook is when someone else achieves something, everybody has to post about it. That's something I have never done. In the sense that, especially if it's a celebrity or something, I don't post anything about anybody. What I post is profound, that's me. If you want to follow me, it's because I have wisdom. I don't want you to vicariously look at me through somebody else. They can read a newspaper for that. That's a waste of time. You're saying, wait a minute, that's harsh. No. What are you spending your time on? Cutting and pasting something that, so-and-so's dead, and he's died, and then also, rest in peace. Like, they go to the family, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe that person in Bandra also said rest in peace to my mother. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And you're saying that stuff. No, this is reality. I told you, like, when I'm done, some of you will dislike me. Well, up until now you were funny, now you got serious. No, life is serious. If it was all a joke, that's all. And other thing, if you can't tell a joke, don't tell it on Facebook. It may sound funny to you when you heard it, but you look dumb as rocks when you post something that you can't back up. Now here's the other side of it. Whatever you post on there is digitally immortalized. So even if you become wiser later, your foolishness is still on display. See, that momentary grandeur is not worth it. That momentary grandeur is not worth it. Because in the world we live in, perceptions are facts, facts are never facts. And if you want to be a fact-driven person and have your facts and feelings balanced, don't do certain things that don't work. And I'm challenging you on this not because of the norm. I'm challenging you is that's how the 3% people think. In fact, I have a Facebook page, but most of the people I admire don't. Someone else takes care of that stuff for them, and they only post wise things about it. So I developed a marketing team that now takes care of it. It's all from my writings, so I'm immune. They're only posting that which I already authorized. Now here's the interesting thing, and why am I harping on this? Sometimes our emotion gets the better of us and we say something. Now if you're in business and you said something about a customer or an industry that something was bad, and then suddenly you got the opportunity to cater to that industry, it will bite you quicker than you know how. There was this lady who got a job, and that afternoon she went and got on Facebook and talked about how horrible this place was, but she's going to take it because she needed employment. She didn't realize that is what your competition looks at first, your social media profile. Are you consistent with what you're saying in front of them? Because that digital media allows you to be somebody else. But guess who's... You know what is the number one thing brought in right now in divorce cases in America? The spouses, the social media. Facebook is the number one thing being dragged into divorce settlements. Because the husband was just casually in the school reunion group. And casually, he realized that the person he knew back when both of them were single and willing to mingle is in that same town. And one of them now just casually happens to be divorced. And the other one says, maybe I should, that's how it begins. You stumble on things you shouldn't be. So one of the things I would encourage you to do to keep yourself on the straight and narrow is reverse your operational methodology. Every day, find someone and introduce them to people they couldn't meet on their own. Teach them something they couldn't learn on their own. And take them to places they couldn't go on their own. And you'll be a leader and not a follower. Introduce them to people they couldn't meet on their own. Teach them things they couldn't learn on their own. And take them to places they couldn't go on their own. So my time is up, and I want to leave you with one really quick, simple story. The story takes place in a farm. They're two friends. One is a goat and the other is a horse. The horse is now sick and getting ready to die. The goat is distraught. And the goat hears the farmer talking to the veterinarian. The veterinarian says that you have a horse that is going to die, but it has a virus that can corrupt your entire barn. So I will give it medicine for 2 days, and on the third day I'll kill it if it doesn't respond. I'll put it down. The goat doesn't want the horse to die. So it tells the horse, you need to do something. No response. Day 1, medicine, nothing. Day 2, nothing. Day 3, the vet is on his way to kill. The goat hears it, runs down, tries to motivate the horse. The horse says, if you don't get up today, they're gonna put you down. And the horse starts moving. He says, well, that's it. Get up and stand and be counted. And the horse stands up. He says, now gallop like the wind so they'll see you in your former self. And the horse starts galloping. Right then, the farmer is on his knees praying to the heavens above. He said, Lord, this has been my trusted horse. If there's one miracle left in you, please give it to my horse. And suddenly he looks up and sees the horse galloping. Then he looks back at heaven and he says, "Thank you, Lord, for answered prayer. Today there will be a celebration and a sacrifice. Bring the goat." So just remember this, one person's expectation is another person's sacrifice. If you want to do something nice, tell everybody. But then also realize that your sacrifice may be for someone else's glory. Hopefully my sacrifice here was worth something and all of you will be glorious. Adios.
Thank you, Krish. I think he deserves a bigger round of applause. I'm sure you were all blessed this morning. 3 hours have just gone like that. I wish you could spend the whole day. I want to thank Paul Gideon from Marriott and Aditya for facilitating Brother Krish to come here this morning. In fact, they called me just around 8 days back and said, Krish Dhanam is in town, we'd like to do a meeting. And my team said, it's too short a time, we've got to call to the creators. I said, let's not lose an opportunity. So thank you for my team who has worked behind the scenes. Jean, thank you. Thank you, Kurt. Where's Romeo? Thank you, Romeo. Jyoti, Audrey. Thank you, Marshall. Thank you, Shalini. And all of you and my advisory committee. Pastor Joseph is here. They have not been, the others could not come here this morning. Do keep in touch because we believe these meetings enhance our lives and helps us to lead a more life abundance. I want to thank Sunny. He's always been helpful. Please stand, Sunny. I really want to appreciate you. Please give a hand. And the first guy says, what needs to be done? Thank you, Alvin, for all the creatives that you do for us. And thank you all for coming here. If I missed out anybody, you should forgive me. But just want to say, Krish, we have been really, really blessed this morning. We look forward to many more sessions. In fact, as I had gone out to the washroom, I thought you should take us out for 2 days. And over 2 days, we'll stay at a resort, all of us. Are you open to that?
Yes.
Yeah? Probably bring your wives, bring your...
I'm really glad their response is same as with me. I was worried that suddenly I wasn't connecting.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for being here this morning. Yes, Jean, you want to say something?
Yeah, so that's the better half. This is the bitter half.
God bless you. Thank you.
Friendship Club channel and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Like, comment and share. Thank you for watching. Visit us at thefriendshipclub.in.